This evening, Ministry of Education launches Operation Recovery to combat truancy in grade 6 students. Parliament Librarian dies in fatal friendship accident. Local organization provides first aid training to school-age children. In the region, catastrophe in Argentina as wildfires burn farms and wildlife. And internationally, day 2 of Russian attack, Moscow hits major Ukrainian cities. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight's newscast with tragic news. A Parliament librarian was killed last evening after his pickup truck lost control and collided with an oncoming truck. Esther Sobers has more.
The Guyana Police Force is investigating a fatal accident that claimed the life of a Parliament librarian at Friendship Public Road, East Bank Darara corridor on February 24, 2022. Dead is 54-year-old Michael Gladstone of Section A, Diamond, East Bank Darara. According to a police report, around 6:10 p.m., motor pickup PRR 2609, driven by Gladstone, was proceeding south along the public road at a fast rate of speed when the driver lost control of the vehicle and ended up on the western side of the road. The left side of the pickup collided with the front portion of the motor lorry GAB 1835, driven by 21-year-old Sachin Singh Moholan of Fernandez Street, Linden Highway, which was proceeding in the opposite direction. As a result of the collision, the driver of the motor pickup received injuries to his body. He was picked up in an unconscious condition and taken to the Diamond Diagnostic Center. He was pronounced dead on arrival by a doctor on duty. The body was taken to the Memorial Gardens Funeral Home for storage and subsequent post-mortem examination. A breathalyzer test conducted on the driver of the motor lorry found no trace of alcohol in his system. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. The Ministry of Education has initiated a campaign in the hopes of locating grade 6 pupils who have not returned to school since the schools reopened, as well as those who did not perform well on the recently completed National Grade 6 Assessment mock exams. The campaign, dubbed Operation Recovery, has launched in each of the 11 educational districts with combined efforts of education officers from the Central Ministry. The education districts, regional officials, and community organizers will be deployed into communities to locate these students. The Minister of Education, Priyamanik Chan, who led the campaign today on Demerara's West Coast, stated that the goal of the exercise is to determine the whereabouts and reasons for the students' absence, as well as how the ministry can best assist these students in returning to school.
We are certain of two things. The world's studies have said to us very clearly that the long school closure will crash education systems around the world to the point where we'll see large numbers of dropouts and large gaps and learning loss in academic work. And we are certain in Guyana that we do not have to be a statistic. We could take measures to mitigate against that kind of those harsh consequences. One of the things we're doing is we are insisting that no child at the common entrance NGSA level will drop out of school. And so that's why we're engaged in this activity. And as soon as we start back school, which we expect to do shortly, fully start back school, not on rotation, then we are going to do this for every other grade.
The Ministry of Education affirms its commitment to fully reopening schools and re-enrolling as many children as possible. To accomplish this, the minister aims to examine what needs students may have and strive to satisfy those needs if students fail to attend school. But it will take everyone's support to make this happen sooner rather than later.
We're asking all of Guyana, parents, teachers, churches, mandirs, mosques, NGOs, CDCs, everybody to get on board with us. There is no way we could change the lives of these children except we get them an education. And we are very sure in the Ministry of Education that this is something that we can do. We can get these children back into schools. And once we do, we are going to devise different things, different strategies, and different ways of plugging the learning loss gap. We've already consolidated the curriculum. We are sure that there are many different things we can do, and we have plans in place. And so we're asking parents to send your children to school. We're asking community members and everybody else to make sure as far as we can, we get every child back into the classroom. We will not stop until we are sure that that goal is realized.
The United Nations Children Fund has declared that this generation of children cannot afford any more disruptions to their education. UNICEF anticipates this generation would lose more than $17 trillion in earnings throughout their lifetime, their economic growth stunned, and mental health badly impacted unless urgent steps are adopted quickly. Stick around after the break. A porter was killed on the Susac-Linden Highway, and one local organization provides a one-of-a-kind training session for kids.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Welcome back. Police are looking into a deadly accident on the Susac-Linden Highway that killed a porter who lost balance after the truck he was on was rear-ended by a speeding lorry. Esther Sobers has more.
Police in Regional Division 4B is investigating yet another road fatality at Yabukabra Public Road, Susac-Linden Highway on February 24, 2022. Dead is Jomo Benjamin, a porter. Inquiries disclosed at around 3:10 p.m. Two lorry GXX 2366 driven by 48-year-old Jerome Paddy of 1 mile Wismar Linden was proceeding north along the public road at a fast rate of speed. While in the process of overtaking a line of traffic, the left side front of the lorry collided with the right side of the motor lorry GYY 6745 driven by 47-year-old Robert Wilbers, also proceeding north along the road and turning east into Yarracabra Pump Road. As a result of the collision, Porter Jomo fell out of the vehicle and was run over by a motor lorry GXX 2366. He was picked up in an unconscious condition and taken to the Diamond Diagnostic Center, where he was pronounced dead on arrival by a doctor on duty. The body was taken to the Memorial Gardens funeral parlor for storage and awaiting post-mortem examination. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. One local organization is providing a one-of-a-kind training session for children that could make their daily life a little safer. Here is more. Clark's Production Incorporation, a training, development, and consultancy organization that specializes in soft skill training, is offering skills training in first aid for school-aged children.
First and foremost, we recognize that health and safety is pretty key in not just organization, but in the home as well. And we've realized as well that from the age, the school age, it is more important to start the education from there. So at least when they grow up and they become adults, they're now able to effectively put that teaching into practice.
Fayon Jordan, first aid instructor for over 19 years, commented that it is important that our children learn first aid at an early age.
We all have children, and we know that they spend a significant part of their growing lives in school. They're exposed to injuries at school. Their parents are not there. The teachers are not always there in the playing field with them. And if they can help each other, they'll be assisting the teacher. And by learning first aid, they'll actually feel a sense of safety. They'll be able to even notice risks around their surroundings and encourage each other to stay safe.
Jordan said, while the training being offered is only for children ages 10 to 15, the organization may consider training for children in the younger age group in the near future.
This age group is more away from home than the younger age group. And because they're more away from home, they're exposed to more persons, more activities, and hence can come in contact with injuries, accidents, or even witness one.
Jordan said parents could teach safety at home. The organization, on the other hand, has put together specialized training. While this will benefit the children, it will also enable them to help others who may require first aid.
So what we have done with Clark's Production is put together a few small courses for our children, which we have one which is bleeding and fractures, another one which covers choking and CPR. There's a lot more, but we put them into small groups for a simple cost of only $3,000.
Awesome.
Yes, and these courses would last us 6 hours, but in a 2-day interval of 3 hours per day.
You can contact Clark's Production Incorporated if you want your child or children to participate in this training course.
Safety starts at home, and safety can be implemented anywhere. So for mothers out there like myself, I would encourage you to get your child enrolled for the Easter period, or even if you want to have that done before, because we know how the school system is operating right now. We're doing a rotation basis, and if you have some time, come in, get your children registered, or you can visit our website at www.clarkspro.org/register, and you just click on the tab CPR First Aid. You fill up the information there, and the office will reach out to you for other information to get your child or children registered.
Don't go away after the break. Day 2 of Russian attack. Moscow hits major Ukrainian cities, and Ukraine-Russia crisis. Will China be Putin's economic lifeline? But before that, here's a bridge retraction schedule.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Welcome back. Here's our junior reporter, Talisha Holder, with today's regional and international news.
Good evening. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Argentina is hoping that mild rains that arrived over the weekend will aid firemen in putting out raging flames that have destroyed farms, pastures, and wildlife in the country's north in recent weeks. Archizero Teresa Bo reports.
The wildfires are rapidly moving from one place to another and consuming almost everything in this area in the Argentine province of Corrientes. And firefighters are also moving fast, trying to burn a control line that will slow down the advance of the flames.
What they are doing is burning a line that will force the fire to slow down, and then they will attack it with water. There's already a group working inside. We have to stop it before it reaches the road, because if it passes there are thousands of hectares of pine trees, and it will get even worse.
Over 800,000 hectares have already been destroyed, and with it, livestock, grains, and wildlife.
This is an area that generally sees abundant rainfall, but strong winds, lack of humidity, and drought are making it easy for fire like this one to spread all across the province, and an average of around 30,000 hectares of land are burning every day.
Also at risk are 12,000 hectares of marshlands in Iberá. The area is a natural reserve where caimans, amphibians, and other 300 species of birds are being affected. Firefighters from Brazil and other parts of the country like Buenos Aires have come here in an effort to prevent the fires from causing even more damage. Ramón Pared is in charge of the firefighters that have come from Buenos Aires.
The only thing we can't control is nature, so you need to control everything else. Corrientes is lacking resources. They don't have the equipment they need. They have great people, but they're not prepared. They need pickup trucks, firefighting kits, uniforms, among other things.
Javier Storti is desperate. He says he has lost almost everything he owns. Most of his land was burned by the fire, and like many others, is currently in debt.
Sometimes I don't want to continue, but I have to, because what am I going to tell my family? I have a family of 60 people, 19 work with me. Where's my family going to work? There's no work here aside from this.
Rain is crucial at this point to prevent the fires from spreading to other provinces. But heavy rainfall is not expected until March. A long wait for those involved in the daily fight against the flames. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Corrientes, Argentina.
Internationally, on the second day of Moscow's assault, Ukrainians fear that Russian troops will soon arrive in their capital, Kyiv. Al Jazeera's Natasha Gonim reports.
A second dawn to Vladimir Putin's war on Ukraine. Devastation in the heart of the capital, Kiev. Ukrainian air defenses shot down a Russian jet overnight. Air raid sirens continue to pierce the sky. Russian tanks are reported to be on their way to the seat of power.
Putin decided to go for Kiev, so it's a beheading strategy that we are watching here. And yes, the Russian forces have not probably made as quickly progress as they expected. Pretty obvious that the Russian forces will prevail at some point. What Putin wants to do is to impose the terms. He wants probably to have a regime that is seen as sympathetic to his twisted vision of this greater Russia.
U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin warned Russian forces are about 30 kilometers outside of the capital. Overnight, the Ukrainian president addressed what Russia has been saying is its primary concern.
Today, I've asked 27 European leaders whether Ukraine will be in NATO. I have asked directly. Everyone is afraid. No one answers. But we are not afraid. We are not afraid of anything. We are not afraid to defend our country. We are not afraid of Russia. We are not NATO members at the moment, but what guarantees will we get? And most importantly, which countries will give us those guarantees?
The Kremlin has launched a multi-pronged attack by air, land, and sea. The military is hitting major cities across the country, including Kharkiv, Mariupol, and Dnipro. Northeast of the capital, in the region of Sumy, an official provided a grim update.
Unfortunately, populated areas of Sumy region are under siege. Military vehicles are moving towards Kiev and heading to the west.
Ukraine has banned all men between the ages of 18 and 60 from leaving the country. They're being told to stay and fight. Many are desperate to leave. After weeks of threats, people here simply didn't believe it could happen. Now, on day 2 of the onslaught, there are fears that the arrival of Russian soldiers in the capital is imminent. Natasha Ganem, Al Jazeera.
And finally, China faces a problem as a result of Russia's attacks on Ukraine. The Chinese leadership has flatly refused to criticize the military operation. While the West applies sanctions, China is supporting Russia's economy by importing wheat. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu reports.
Less than a month after Chinese President Xi Jinping met Vladimir Putin, Russia's leader launched the most aggressive attack in Europe for decades. But China's leaders have refused to condemn the invasion or use the word invasion at all.
The Ukrainian issue has other very complicated historical background. Today it may not be what any of us want. So we hope that all parties will work together to give peace a chance.
China is criticizing both the United States for exacerbating tensions and NATO for ignoring what it says are Russia's legitimate security concerns. China also says sanctions are ineffective and only harm the general population.
China feels very strongly that the U.S. is trying to encircle it and contain it. Russia feels the same way. The combined pressure on both of them has pushed them together. And there's no question about that. So at this juncture, they feel that they are up against the US and its allies.
Beijing has repeated its claims of non-interference in the affairs of other countries. It won't provide Moscow with military support, but it has been bolstering trade, such as increasing imports of Russian wheat.
You don't go and throw a lifeline to Russia in the middle of a period when they're invading another country. That is simply unacceptable.
But this doesn't mean China condones Russia's attack on Ukraine. It also has good ties with Kiev and relies on strong trade with Europe. Beijing must balance its friendship with Moscow while maintaining relations with the West for the sake of its long-term economic and strategic interests.
Where China clearly supports Moscow in terms of trade and economics and in ideology, but won't actually, kind of violate Western sanctions, to physically help. I think that situation will remain, and that's what Moscow expects.
On the same day Russian forces invaded Ukraine, 9 Chinese fighter jets entered Taiwan's air defense zone. Some analysts have drawn comparisons between Ukraine and the self-ruled island claimed by China, a link Chinese officials deny. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
Thanks, Alicia. Here now is the 3-day weather forecast. And that is it for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.